up. Yo, Reggie. DF Squad. Muddy Waters. Don't get it twisted. Nigga.
Hey yo, everybody in this motherfucker will get touched. Fuck such and such, I roll tight like handcuffs. Rock that ass to sleep with discreet techniques. I beast that freak up the weak like I make me deep. Hold up, rotate around the solar, better than Cobra. Composure never sleeps, my stream exposures. I'm sauteing MCs with fried rice up in the walk without that MSG and chopped celery. See, I made it, my flavor situated from the nickel plated mic just hot to leave your brain inflated. Plus, I'm thick like Quakers on papers. Audacious MCs get turned to lower cases. Letterman and the medicine that I'm swallowing. Get you hollering like Marvin Gaye when his father shot him in the chest. I roll with 2 stacks of text and mad niggas in sets that'll roll up in your rest. Mr. Fantastic's crafted with that 50-second ass kick. When I'm blasted, my mathematics get drastic. That you can't see with bifocals. Watch your MCs go up and down like stockbrokers. I leave your brains on tilt with ill skills that's built. That's rougher than jeans that Gloria Vanderbilt. I'm popping that shit, plus I can back it. Your man and be like, yo, get that dust off your jacket.
It ain't a test or quiz that my squad can't win. Those who know the biz know we rap kids get biz. You're digest, comfortable stab fools to the chest. Then I copycat kill a rat with no method to my madness. Bless the apparatus with the fattest. I'm to be the last man standing on the planet. You get attached like a blood-sucking leech when you fall into my rhythm of speech. Your hands get embraced with a touch at the base. Head get wrapped up, neck get thrown in the neck brain. Rough, mechanical, lyrical attitude will ironically, chronically murder you and improve. My objective, the way I live, is kinda primitive. See, I get to the bottom of the problem and make shit clear. Step in the jam, hood of the hype, blast to the master, cast the last, grasp the mic, tear down the route. With MLD goes collapse with it. To my squad, there's no matches, we mash. The photo flashes and all flavors, that's class. Bomb attack on wax, lyrical mini mac in your back. Tie you up, throw you in the act. I'm public figure who walks around with a jitty ticket cause I gives a fuck about another nigga.
Muddy Waters, yo, that's the way that my intro shit go. Drunk, slow, funk, flow, Reggie Noble, fuck with me though. Marley G though, it's not logic. Playing that big shit get broke down like a scopic. Bring it back, keep the track ringing with the bass line. It's major when you savor my flavor, can you taste mine? Bass and I'm a lace spot, show fat, pacing round and round, avoiding the time to put it down. Now the time here,
Clown wear, pick a spot, neutral grounds or not. We give a fuck, like a shot.
Gangsta, so-called killing, cat pilling, playalistic. I mean, is all that shit realistic? Play your cards, guard. Keep your hand held tight. Nightfall might call you light. Shit is tripe on these evil streets after dark. Niggas getting sparked, left and outlined and chalk. New day says this whole shit's twisted as a man. It's me rhyming on these niggas shit listed. Marley G, open your eyes and see. Recognize the B and G, hoping to rise in D. In the street with E, the feeling had it cause I had.
Worked up.
Yeah, killing my psychosomatic pattern is mad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Muddy Waters. We out for 9-7. Words up. Peace.
Fuck you. Same, Move got the key to my beamer. Jack move, that's how we act when we team up. Yo. Chill out, nigga. Steamer, who got the key to my beamer? Jack move, that's how we act when we team up. Throw your triple beam up, this is fish scale. I bailed out the county with counterfeit bills. My slang be high range, brick city. Watch how you sniff, son, I'm highly octane. All you hear is bang, bang, bang. Yo, remember you bitch shit, I forget my last name. It's all about game, nothing else but delf. Walk through the woods, then stomp on your foot. With how I take out any comp in the hood. Gorilla impact in this rap habitat. Get you stepping in your Air Max. Bounce, cocking it back, but where it at? Bounce. I got a 6-pack of Heineken and big cap on the wheels and 2 laps. I give Stella a run back. Aim must be fuck you. Cause every time I walk by, niggas be like, fuck you. I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. My first name must be he ain't shit. Cause every time I'm in the car, bitches be like, he ain't shit. I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, nigga, I'll be there. I heard the party going on in there, yeah. Well, let me shake my stinking ass in there, yeah. Soon as I walk in, dogs are barking. Haters play the back, I stay in front like handicap parking. Starting arsons from Jersey to Auckland. Saw me coughing out that dread apartment. Roll up to the jam with the front end bent up. Watch them chickens who end up getting salmonella. I'm ghetto like D&D, fucking with D. You be on Bear from TV part 3 in a heartbeat. Tiger, straight out the cup. You light in the ass, son. You weigh about a buck. But I'm 190 physique, 234 pounds total when I'm carrying the heat. Now platinum on wax, but platinum in the streets. Any nigga that disagrees, smack him in the teeth. Then that bag is little piece. Rock the ice, get into the project. Gonna rob her tonight. Why you acting like that? Weed made me do it. I'm devil's advocate hot. It take days to do it. My crew do drugs, but Wayne Reed couldn't breathe. Dry me in the sun, I'll amount to 10 keys. Red bones, I'm boning. MCs be cloning. That's before Doc stretch up and moaning. My middle name must be fuck you. Cause every time I'm in the hood, niggas be like, fuck you. I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. My first name must be he ain't shit. Cause every time I'm in my car, bitches be like, he ain't shit. I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. Niggas and bitches. Yo, if you gotta be a monkey, be a gorilla. It's 4 a.m., I'm off a tab and stiller. World rap biller, pushing big bins with a chicken head draws hanging from my antenna. I'll be goddamn if a nigga take mine. On foot shit, put roller blades on. Mind your business, the 9 with swiftness. I'll pull it, stretch it like Fonda Fitness. I'm an everyday nigga like I'm 20.
Take my hands out my pocket, you can see my thumbs. Both of them turn green from counting the ones. Memorized by the glory, word life. Cut off niggas who killed good but couldn't do nothing for me. Shout them out every once in a blue, and kids, Joe, I never rock with. Long as they keep away, we cool. I devise my own stimulus, playing them niggerish. I'm tired of eating those crumbs and black licorice. To free my mind on Fridays, I cleanse in the mosque. Let the imam pray over my head and wash. Thoughts, sterilized, purified, godly. Watches, gift, manifest the green like barley. If that shit happen, I feed his whole army. Talking about the angels and peeps in Somali. Try to stay humble and swallow my pride in God. I trust, I talk about the ones on your 5. Chris dollar billing. Catch me in a little hut in Benin. Village style, feeding the children. Big pots of jasmine tea with Mandela. Africans chanting me on like Coachella. Ghostface, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, my death day. 24 karat Jumale. Wishing they can bury me next to the prophet. Nabila Isa, Musa, Hazrat Muhammad, Ibrahim. Am I a good man?
No.
Am I a fool?
The Lord takes me, gathering speeds before winds, high currents, distant places before men wings. Kings offering thrones was there. Man with the 7 crowns on his dome was near. Feet walked over rose petals, souls from the ghetto. Face frozen gold like the pharaoh. Adorned in glory, robed with light, a powerful as cherub. As he passed the path, white doves crossed the eyes of thugs. Eternal heartbeat in the dark fire in his blood. 700 books were open, embraced the right, then threw the crooks in the ocean. Skin grass hair like it grew from goat skin. Chosen as spoken, tablets was broken. The smoke head grabs an omen. Gravity grabbing me, gradually dragging me through hell's cavity. This is blasphemy. I fell where the jackals feed. God felt bad for me, but catch me in the Caspian Sea. Satan gave the dragon his key. Woo families, the faculty. Peace. KP. Swinging the stairwell, fast to put the rap
Wanna think you can't ignite your hair gel. No such thing as a fair sale. He'll put the bullet out same day, delivery airmail. And on this level, a thug will sell you garbage. No refund, no needs change from the cartridge. But the users kept coming back, but they like earnings. Ready to make a deal, soul and pipe burning. The outcome tragic, household dramatic. Living rooms for heated spoons, basements for addicts. Support from the bean, hit the courts from a fiend who betrayed one who had lit the torch for his team. So he sent them gifts, body parts for DMs in the box that held prints, but too dark to see him.
This is DBraxx, the rap connoisseur, and you are about to engage in a hip-hop experience. Coming up next, The Rap Project, reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure on LATalkLive.com, where we are more than just talk.
PA and Tri-State.
I done got in trouble again.
Spells trouble for all you niggas. GCM.
I done got in trouble
Hey yo,
again.
French fried chocolate shake, Caesar salad, tuna steak, stupid cake. Ain't nothing sweet though, it's super strict. Y'all super fit, phony is plastic, paper thin like paper plates. Show me the cabbage, straight vegan. Animal bars with black heathens, put a glitch in your heart beating, rock to stop beating.
Out in Greece, Greek salad and eating deep. Tears to Caesar for GCM. It goes one for the 9 mil, two for the Mac, 10, 3 for the hustlers who was getting it back then can't stand rappers, but I know a lot of producers. 9 to 5, yo, the live show is dollar for losers. My hood block is something like Woodstock. A lot of people in drugs, no neighborhood watch. It's a good Glock.
Punani pop, the birds flock, my orders drop. Spit great game with great aim, let off the shot. Rock 3/4 African print. Santi cloth, gold cufflinks, Arabian silk and slick talk.
5% spark, orthodox, visual pitch dark. Spit darks, digital, politically pissed off. Rich thoughts, Michelob, money and fish farms. Switch bars, back and forth, blessing that bitch bar.
Yo, we flip raw, bareback, gray white shark, teeth sink deep in your
Got
skin.
in trouble
Yeah,
again.
disciples of rap, ice stacks, alien script, something shiesty like a knife in your back.
Phonetics to hootie,
Metal palms, scheduled for duty.
king medallions is rallying, the soldiers to scoop the gold.
Goofies, ropes, dookie, motorbikes, Suzuki, those are 2-piece, exposed to goofies, run over new leaves,
Chronic,
trade,
honor, astonishing.
honestly, gold chain armory,
Artillery, archery, split your arteries.
retardedly, regarded the artistry, match the harmony, the poems is the product of poverty.
Or staggering economy, the policy, fuck the government authority, this life is a novel.
I'm on that pre-killer van and killer cow, the old world general, the master, still a loser, still a vow.
Shit, might as well kill him now. Team really foul.
Punch a nigga out,
Got
nigga
in
out.
trouble again.
State holiday, put you to bed for snitching the feds, you dodo. The price of your head's Panera bread like a bagel. New era tilt like it's a halo. They all mythological like Play-Doh. We the true and living. God stitching your true religions. The last of the real spitting. Lick a shot, go in. Captain of the mothership, singing Dogon.
It's like heroin, first class Virgin Airlines, smack dead on. Soon as we touch down, bare arms. Pool games at the hole in the wall. Side bet, play with this paper, that's when I put a hole in you on. Be prepared to die up against the movement. You out of your head, the streets is my sweet potato pie bag glorious. The life of a legend is luxurious, the deadliest
I
men.
done got in trouble again.
missing no English out the system with my penmanship of genius. I'm being a scout. No GPS but a G-pick route. Left the house at my house, you look like jeans sing down. Somewhere in South Central, where I grew up at, with pretty valley women that blew up yak. If you ain't from around here, things will get horrible, terrible. Homies all act territorial. Lunch with the homies, pouring liquor for the dead ones. Rebirth a couple verses, giving the virgin the rare run. Rodeo in the hood, rodeo where the bougie at. California agriculture, grow the best baby sacks. Anywhere Cali, know I'm in the radius. LA fitted hats, all black like the Raiders is. Chillin' with some villains, how to hunt you like venison. Ever since Venice Beach and football scrimmages class.
For dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. For dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. For dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. For dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. The ways that I walk, the slang that I talk. I be drive-by shooting every mic that I rock. Hoodies and Vans when I kick it in the bay. Rockabilly style when I'm back in LA. Got that West Coast steez and West Coast beats. Better watch where you go on these West Coast streets. Cause we gang gang boogie turfing in them white tees. Jerking in some skinny ass jeans. My music, this is how we do it. Telescaper doing 80 throwing deuces. 40 ounce rap for the cats that be on the front steps reminiscing to my music. Red lipstick, eyeliner winged out. Door knockers in the corner for ring out. You might see me on the 10 o'clock news with a blunt and a boot like it's 1992. Throw up a dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. Throw up a dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. Throw up a dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club. Throw up a dub for that West Coast love. 40 ounce rap in the club.
Stay tinted, the most beautiful thing someone invented. A Wrangler had a sticker on the bumper, a sign in King's tow truck tried to jump her. Rear view mirror that of Serena Williams. Staring with the crime, then those looks kill him. Brushless showers in the Brazilian wax, cash in the glove compartment, increasing tax, low mileage on the odometer. Graduate with more degrees than a thermometer. Spark plugs with great conversation. She would focus on the finish line of destination. Steering in the right direction. Made sure I wore a seatbelt and had airbags for protection. In her tank, she loved to stash my tools. Kept it full, super unleaded fuel. She had a room full of skirts and rims. The old ones used to swing off ropes that often hung from limbs. Attempt at the Ford modeling agency. Suburban area with the Caucasians be. Her great-grandfather was a Cherokee Indian. Explorer and navigator. Traveling then began sharpening his arrows on Plymouth Rock. Commander-in-chief who raised cattle and was selling the livestock. King of the frontier, right up thoroughbreds. He was just as sharp as a needle without thread. Ropes that often hung from limbs. Attempt at the Ford modeling agency. Suburban area with the Caucasians be. Her great-grandfather was a Cherokee Indian. Explorer and navigator. Traveling then began sharpening his arrows on Plymouth Rock. Commander-in-chief who raised cattle and was selling the livestock. King of the frontier, right up thoroughbreds. He was just as sharp as a needle without thread.
My
Sniping with the conquest, battling is nonsense. I'ma hold a seance to curse you with a 16. Used to be the sickest till I came with the vaccine. Crack scene, epidemic rap with the blaspheme. Magazine, Thompson, machine gun, Charles Bronson. At the Slauson, my gold chain is awesome. Landmine triggers don't enter, post a caution. Burst with the raw touch, clutch shot delivery. Taking out your army from the general to infantry. Sniper in the bush bars, 300 yards out. X-Men, gamma flow, throwing the cars out. Rhymes missing chromosomes, known to retard out. And earning from the shoulders up via the hard route and hard knocks. Spitting on the blocks with the boom box. And flagrant with the valves, give them 2 shots to take it out. You got something doper than this, you better break it out.
Yeah, Killer Ben, change business, let me loosen my bow tie. Light my cigar. Make that next drink on the rocks. Special edition, military issue, special edition. My composition pop the piston, something is missing. Sun glisten when I talk, listen. I've been pitching all night, hitting and spitting that unwritten sign to living. This is body twitching, after the lynching, after the laughter, after I go NASA to mention. I'm anxious to mention how long lyrics long, the war longer, the show longer, luxury buckets to go harder. I hate to say this, but on the playlist, my classic cadence should be compared to the greatest Nas Prodigy razors. Biggie and Craig Mack flavors. Better yet, rock a taka vodka with a slight twist of pop behavior. The bang banger, the migraine weather changer. My pleasure and pain with street slang, decibel danger. Dedicated to barring up. And you know I featured on the track if my ad-libs star it up.
Yeah, straight off the plane from Nigeria. Truly yours, medallions. Who wanna go against the author of death? Heavy metal splash parts of your chest, the best there is. Step up, get served. Words I spit shit so hot for each line I need a breath mint. I got a lifetime of lines that can change time as we know it. So till the day I die, I'm on the guest list. You want your egg scrambled? Give you the French toast bassinet, pancake, baking your breakfast, no sweat on. Power refined, whatever design. Pass raw, smashing your glass jar with gridiron. It's better styles when I'm off the Medi-Cal. I put whack niggas on the spot like pedophiles, thug special. Murder the mic and mud wrestle with thoughts. With enough heart to really come test you. Don't get this shit twisted when it comes to being G.O.D. I truly understand that I am just a vessel.
Puffin' on stramonium, underground like potholes, but over fly soul. These bars like Garden Smithsonian. These coaches for custodians, homeless men, honey origin dude. Guys at my laptop looking at Red Fallopian too. They like your Joey, you rule. I'm like if only you knew. I'm only in school for cosmology. That's why I act as lonely as you. You see, I'm washed behind my ears and my kids, so my voice over the sneers is the only way they hear what I got behind my membrane. But I've been smoking chemstrain, so lately I've been having hard times with remembering. But be patient. My studies prove Egyptians ain't shit, cause I believe that we could be like Neo in the Matrix. But fuck it, I'm erratic, mama locked me in the attic. Till I draw on the static and my somatic anatomy and come out impudent with futures and blueprints and illmatics. I've been going raw, this is how I feel rapping. We get y'all certain tactics, so y'all can't even gas us. We taught you how to be prepared, but still attacking the masses. Y'all better get y'all gases, cause we about to annihilate. My empire gets in the empire state. I'm on a higher platform, look at the way they platform. Never fuck with phony neck, cause I don't like my back tall. Nigga ask Quan, it's that top bomb that you ain't used to. Keep it neutral to scoop with and tell her no beef like noodles. Keep it neutral, just so you can scoop. I tell her no beef like noodles. It's world domination, nation. You tune into my station. Always got the doobie in the motherfucking nation. Always got the trees. So what the fuck you mean I ain't about to rise to the top with my fucking world domination, nation. You tune into my station. Always got the doobie in the motherfucking nation. Always got the trees. So what the fuck you mean I ain't about to rise to the top with my fucking team?
Yo, who the fuck passed you the mic and said that you could flow? Pour them out, bitch, I wanna know. Who the fuck passed you the mic? Hey yo, who the fuck
Okay, all I have to say is it's Wednesday. I'm so excited it's Wednesday because you know what goes down. This is the Rap Project. You know what I'm saying? It's hip hop all night. And what you just heard, that first segment, I mean, I got to tell you, the whole night it's going down like that. The whole night is going down like that. And I'm going to give you some bangers. I'm going to give you something for your ears. You know what I mean? But we also have special guest tonight, BSQ Magazine, an indie magazine. You know what I mean? We're going to find out, you know, what they're all about. You know what I mean? We've got Federico, the photographer, in the building, and we'll be talking to the editor-in-chief a little later in the show. It's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? I'm sure what I've seen in the magazine, it totally looks interesting. So we'll have Federico on in just a moment. We also have, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a veteran, you know what I'm saying, someone who's been there in this entertainment world and seen so many things in his life. Jerry Bell is going to be sitting in with your boy, the Rap Connoisseur, tonight. Ibrahim as well. We're going to find out more about their new show on LA Talk Live. Brand new show. You know, big up to DJ Hayes. You know what I mean? Also, if you were lucky enough to check out what went down last week, I know your ears are still blessed because Tri-State was in the building. Tri-State, you say? Yo, one of the bombest MCs you'll ever hear. In addition to his whole crew, big up to the Gold Chain Music crew, Planet Asia, and all those cats. Anyways, if you missed it, www.LATalkLive.com. www.LATalkLive.com. That's where you can go and hear the archive of every show that I've ever done. Today makes 111. LA Talk Live, we can found in your neighborhood, New York Talk Live, Atlanta Talk Live, Boston. Streams coming your way, but we're all based here in Los Angeles and happy to be here. Again, big up to Tri-State. Big up to 1/4 Entertainment. Seville, Jay, all those dudes. Man, let's check them out. 1/4.com. 1/4.com. The TMZ of the streets. These cats have it going on, you know what I mean? And look who just walked in the door. You know what I mean? But we've got more music for you. And actually, just seated, I now have Federico of BSQ Magazine. How are you?
Good, how are you?
You can speak right into that microphone so we can all hear you. There we go. There we go. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Man, it's all good. I'm glad you're here. You know what I mean? I'm like really looking forward to finding out more about this magazine. You know what I mean? Big up to Trayvon, by the way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Brand ambitious PR.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're the photographer.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the magazine. So you're Federico. So how'd you get involved? How long you guys been around?
Well, I mean, you'll hear Jay in a minute, but we got involved just hanging out, really.
Yeah.
Hanging out, going to clubs, parties, the whole thing, and
saw an opening.
Jay started talking about a magazine, independent lifestyle magazine, showcasing indie artists, here in LA and hopefully beyond. So we started doing that on a Tumblr.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, we started really small on the Tumblr.
Wow.
And then we launched last year our website, last January, and now it's a year.
A year now.
And yeah, we're up almost 4 million hits for the year.
Are you quarterly or what? When do you come out? Monthly, quarterly?
We're doing a quarterly system.
Okay.
For covers, we're doing covers every 3 months.
Okay.
So we have a cover. Right now we have our models that we just got on.
Okay.
And coming in March we'll have another one and so forth. But throughout the whole time we're gonna have updates of artists, photographers, musicians, you name it, fashion designers. It's all going to be there.
Awesome. So you're doing a lot of outreach right now, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Well, right on. So you're the photographer.
Yes.
So what kind of things have you seen? So you started on Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
So the growth that you've seen as far as what you're bringing to the table, I'm sure has been phenomenal in the things you have to record.
Yeah, I mean, we've really progressed. I mean, we're working with good people now. We're getting space to shoot now. We got studios. We got stylists, makeup artists, the whole thing. We started really small. I mean, essentially nothing.
Okay.
It's one of those startups, you know?
Yeah, right on. Right on. So you're building your success. That's great. That's great. Okay, so I tell you what, when the editor, Jerron, right?
Yes.
We're going to get Jerron to call in. We're going to find out even a little bit more. You know what I mean? And I know you just had a a launch party or something?
Yes, this past Saturday over at the Premier Supper Club.
The Premier Supper Club, how'd it go?
It went really well.
Okay, who were you targeting at this?
It was just a celebration, really.
Okay.
So we had a lot of close friends there, some people from the industry.
Okay.
And it went really well. I mean, we connected.
Ultimately, you need the industry to be there, or is it just...
It was just a celebration, really. Yeah. Where we've been, we've actually made it 1 year.
Okay.
With the small group that we have.
Okay. That's great, man. Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
I said. And you know what? Until we get that call, we'll go ahead and I'm going to play a little bit more music.
Sure.
And when we come back, we have Jerry Bell here and Ibrahim. You know what I mean? We're going to find out, about their brand new shoe. You're here on a great night, a legend right here. You know what I mean? So we're going to find more about it, and we'll be back, y'all.
Staring at Marilyn Monroe's silhouette while smoking my first cigarette, listening to Marvin X, his father about his death. How you shoot a nigga out, then shoot a nigga out. Dead bodies in my dreams, Bob Marley on my couch. Pass me the blunt he was smoking when he died. You really think Elvis Presley committed suicide? I don't. It's either kill or you be killed. 10 pints of blood per human, ain't no refills. One thing about us humans, nigga, we kill. Turkeys, chickens, pigs, each other fuckers, we will. Take a life, lethal injection, or free will. Tookie got murdered by the pigs, fucking he killed. That ain't none of my business though, but I'm the type of motherfucker make it his business. So open the book and turn that page. It reads Arthur Ashe died from AIDS. No, that's murder, nigga.
Gunfire, death is so quiet. Ask why, tell him it's murder. The sunrise, then hide by gray skies. That cry sounds like murder. Murder, 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 murder.
Malcolm X standing on that stage. It was staged for him to see that gauge. Murder, nigga. Dr. King outside that room. Who knew that he would die that soon? That's murder, nigga. JFK sitting in that drop. He waved goodbye, then they blew off his top. It's murder, nigga. Diddy seen Big and sure watch Pop. They both was riding passenger when they got shot. It's murder. The fuck killed Michael Jackson? His physician, he died slow in his music. You ain't really listen. Now his daughter getting slapped by his sister, and that's probably gonna kill they mama. So I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Houston. Sissy might shed a tear, but ain't no sissy, cause Whitney's still with me. And her death kinda hurt a nigga. So let's get back to talking about murder, nigga. John Lennon got shot in the back, and Paul McCartney couldn't do shit about that, cause it was murder, nigga. Listen, this ain't about you and me. It's about Trayvon Martin and Huey P. And how they shot down Sam Cooke. 12 years of school and it ain't in one damn book. Lee Harvey Oswald about to serve a sentence. From the crowd comes a revolver. That's murder, nigga.
Gunfire, death is so quiet, ask why, tell him it's murder. The sunrise, then hide by gray skies. That cry sounds like murder, 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 murder.
Gasping for air, niggas cling on. Trying to fight the inevitable, sing on. You hear that fat lady warming up? The end came without a warning, huh? Them niggas real with them rags on. Niggas get killed by them flags on. The game told you what the play was, so it don't matter what you say, cuz. Say blood, these niggas living what they die by. You out here playing while these niggas doing drive-bys. If murder was the case that they gave Snoop, how the fuck you thinking they gon' save you? Them niggas played you. You doing stand-up. You a comedian there. We get your hands up. Don't turn this to a 187. I have you leaning on the stairway to heaven. Spitting blood, these are tales from the hood. Suicide sounds quicker, but a murder sounds good. Your motherfucker would try to play me like a toy. You get a bullet in your motherfucking head, homeboy. The people saying that a drug overdose killed Hendrix. They bullshitted. It was murder. All plane crash killed Otis Redding. That's how he said it. But it was murder. The cop killers at alarming rates. They point their guns at the ones they hate. Niggas. If Bin Laden brought the world trade down, then how the fuck did he die just now? Murder, murder.
Murder, kill, kill. They kill a motherfucker still. And I'm just telling y'all the real nigga. Murder, 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 nigga. Kill, kill, kill,
yeah, you know I had to hit you in the head there. That's a Scarface going on and Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying. You listen to the Rap Project, and that's what we do. We give you bangers. Okay. So our special guest has called in. We've got Jerron Kobe, editor-in-chief of BSQ Magazine. Are you there, sir? Jerron?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm so glad you had a chance to call in. I know you're busy and things happen, and man, I've been really looking forward to really learning what your magazine's about. And you said something in a little introduction there that you're here to really pub a movement. I just want to start there.
Yeah, man. It's not just a lifestyle, man. It's a movement, man. This is just a group of people who have a passion for music, fashion, art, lifestyle itself in general, and we're really just trying to do it our way. Things that make us unique as people. We're trying to combine all of those things and push forth this movement, man, to really get people back to being individuals.
Tell me about it. That's what the first thing that struck me was, okay, I see what they're carving out here. These guys have their own voice, and they don't want to be told to do it any other way. Is that basically the right answer to what you're doing?
That's exactly right, man. We like breaking the rules, man. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't want to send out a bad message and have people think, oh, he's saying go out and break the law.
No.
I'm saying break the rules of creativity. Mm-hmm. Some people stick to the box. We, fortunately, this group of people, we've learned to enjoy the box, but we also know how to step outside of that box, break all the rules, and then go back inside. So that's why our movement is so strong. That's why so many people have jumped on board. This is why we're really trying to promote this more and really get more people on board and get more people involved in this thing, man.
How did you now? Federico was saying that this started on Tumblr. So did you have any prior experience at all in wanting to create a magazine, or was it a goal, or did it just happen, generically?
I'm going to put it to you like this, and I'll explain it this way. Stars don't align on purpose, or not purposely. Things happen for a reason.
Right.
I've never been to school for journalism. I've never, taken any type of classes on how to run a magazine. I have a degree in business, but it didn't teach me how to run a magazine.
Right.
This thing happened in a dream. I've always struggled with creativity, and I've struggled in a good way. My brain just kind of overwhelms itself with so many ideas. I always keep a notepad by my bedside, so I like to write certain things down, things that I know that could really make an impact if we can ever get people to jump on board. I'd like to keep those things written down, and this is one of those things. It happened in a very weird dream, a lot of weird imagery, and when I woke up, man, it was like I just knew what I dreamt was something, but it didn't just all come to me at once. I really had to discover the true meaning of what this thing was, man, and that meant me, getting to know different people, building rapport with a lot of people that I didn't even know, like my business partner, Aaron Young, and my photographer who's sitting in your radio station right now. We all met on, a very basic circumstance. We all worked at the same job together, a couple years ago, and that relationship built, and I noticed as time went on, man, all these different creative brains started coming together, bringing ideas to the table, and I really understood then that, this is how this is supposed to work. They're going to find us. They're going to find us. The people that we need will find us. So all we have to do is make the blueprint for it and move forward. People who think like us, carry themselves like us, will find us. And that's pretty much what's happened. Now we're at a staff of like 9 or 10 people, maybe 12, I think, if I'm missing a few people. But it's happened over a long period of time, man, and it's just by being ourselves, enjoying the lifestyles that we love to live, and really just putting forth,
So what is your lifestyle? Who's going to find you? Who is that person?
Well, truthfully, I'll just make it plain and simple. We're hipsters, man. Like we're in love with vintage lifestyle, man. And I always tweet that, man. Vintage lifestyle. The classic things that are original. I don't want to diss musicians and things like that, but I think we've lost sight of like real music. If you really listen to the radio, everything sounds so saturated, man. Like there are so many artists that are underground that haven't gotten that big break, that are maybe not even strong enough to speak out and say, well, this is my music, this is what I'm about. That's what we appreciate. We appreciate original things that are true artists, true musicians, true fashion designers who don't, feel like they need to sell $1 million worth of clothes in a year. They're actually out there promoting a movement just to touch people, just to show people, hey, you can do this too. It's beyond money. This is about showing you all it takes is a thought, a goal, and you set out and you make that happen. So that's what we're about.
All right, so the audience, see, you're in good company because the Rap Project family that listens to this show knows that I get on my soapbox once a week and talk about perseverance and all the things that you really need to do to succeed. And so, you know what? I know they're going to find you because you encapsulated that so well. Let me find out more about the magazine. So you said you're covering art, music, fashion. What other sorts of big headings are you going after or talking about?
Well, if you really think about it, the word lifestyle, there is no one specific thing, man. Lifestyle comes with anything, whether it be music, art, fashion, photography. It really doesn't matter. We're pushing a lifestyle. So if someone out there is aspiring to be, a dope street artist, he wants to paint or he wants to sketch or do graffiti, our job is to provide a platform for that aspiring artist to be heard, for their work to be spread, across our fan base, to the people who follow us. And then, of course, the people who really don't care what we do, they just enjoy looking at what we do. It's for them too. And, you know those people are out there. They just like to probe. We do this for them too, because despite them not supporting it, they still respect it.
So what sort of challenges have you found from those that, I don't want to say hating, but looking at it in a different way? How's that affected, if at all, this past year?
I'll tell you this, man. I was having this conversation with this designer. His name's Jerome. He works for he's the owner of a very dope clothing line called Loyalty and Royalty.
Okay.
Me and this guy probably chit-chat maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And we were having a very deep conversation just last week. And in that conversation, what we discovered is everyone's not built like us as far as leaders. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone's not built to be a leader. Everyone's not built to be a follower. Some people are just built to be bystanders, and they're comfortable there, you know? So that's them. It doesn't affect us in any way. All I know is they're not built like me. So I can't expect them to think or support things that I do because it's nowhere in their bracket.
But you're giving them an example, which is all good.
Pretty much.
You know? So, you know what? If you just logged in, first off, you listen to the Rap Project. I'm the host, DBraxx, the Rap Connoisseur, and I'm lucky enough to have the editor-in-chief of BSQ Magazine, the indie lifestyle magazine. Check it. It's is it bsqmagazine.com? Yeah?
Yeah.
And I also have Federico, the photographer, who was part of the growth of the creation of this, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Man, thank you for coming. So, bsqmagazine.com. So this will not be in print. This is strictly online, or will you print?
Print actually is in discussion right now between myself and the COO of this company, Aaron Young. We're working on bringing in a third business partner. We're playing it very safe. This young lady has a very strong resume and things that she's accomplished in the entertainment industry as far as some of her music and some other magazine work that she's done. We're going to be bringing her in, and she will be the key role into why we move into print this year. Okay. Now, we won't be doing print on a regular basis. What we want to do is make our print exclusive. So print will only be available during an actual event. That is the only time you will see a printed BSQ magazine. Everything else will be strictly online. Mm-hmm. We're also moving to ebook and iBook as well. So all of that's coming up. We won't reveal any specific dates, of course, because we want to make sure things are on paper before we start blasting out dates. But definitely look forward to us being on ebooks, iBooks, and we're definitely doing print, but we're going to do it in a very special way.
Sweet. And so speaking of events, actually, you guys just had an event like last weekend, right?
That's correct. It was the magazine's 1-year anniversary online. We celebrated 1 full year online. What we've accomplished in a year, we're at about 3 million hits to date, which for us is a great thing. Not only that, we're also being viewed in 29 other countries. We didn't even think we'd get to that type of level to where we would be viewed from an international standpoint. So those are major accomplishments for us. So we definitely knew that it was, something to celebrate.
Well, you are based in Los Angeles, right?
That's correct.
So that gives you a one-up on that cat in Chicago. No offense to Chicago, because I love you, but you know what I'm saying. So you're in the right place. So it sounds like a really cool magazine. I enjoyed what I saw. I went through it, and there was one of the articles about life or something. It was a pretty deep discussion, and I was like, okay.
That was me.
That's you? Okay.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah. So
yeah, man, you gotta be careful, man. You got Federico in the building over there, man. That's a real deep guy, man.
We can unleash him here. It's okay.
He is beyond photography, man. That guy's thinking is beyond this world, dude.
Well, you know what? So I gotta, so I see where you're headed, and I wish you all the best of luck, man. You're always welcome to promote and talk about whatever you have going here on the Rap Project, that's for sure, because it's a very cool magazine, y'all. Go check them out, bsqmagazine.com, and keep your eyes open regardless of where you are in the world, because before you know it, all your friends will be watching and your cousins will be watching and you'll be involved. So learn something. Man, thank you for calling. Seriously.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you guys for having us, man. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at BSQ Magazine.
Twitter at BSQ Magazine. Any final thoughts about, your movement that you want to make sure that the people know?
I'll leave it with this, and I always tell this to people. It's actually a saying that I actually have tattooed on myself. It's something that I live by every single day. In order for you to achieve any goal, in order for you to make any type of accomplishment or any type of mark in this world, you have to understand that you have to live life free before you can accomplish those things. If you set boundaries around yourself, you will not succeed. So live life free. Chase your dreams.
Jerron Kobe, editor-in-chief of BSQ Magazine. Federico, dude, thank you for coming. Seriously.
Thank you.
Right on, man. You know, we're going to hear about those guys. I know they'll be back, and we'll see them on television, all this stuff. Go out and support BSQ Magazine. But you know what? I have to get to some bangers, y'all. Here we go.
And about my business. When it comes to them hoes, man, I got them bitches. Look, I got my city. Cause I run that shit, but I don't like face down. And your ass up, and your ass up, and your face down. She coming up, trying to catch breath. If I grab a weed, like stay down, just breathe, ho. Breathe, ho. KOD on ball and homie, sneaking, breathe, ho. Look, I got a rubber off in my pocket. Never slipping, I got it. Bad bitch, she look topic. If she fucking right, then she shopping. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I'm hot fuck like I'm flying. Got perks off in my system. I tell them off when I get on, put your face
down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck.
Her pussy good. My dick is gold. I'm in your hood. I probably fuck your hoe. These bitches nasty. I need my nuts licked. These bitches know I got that deep up in your gut. Get face down with your back arch. Fingers spread that ass apart and I'm deep in it. And she leaking it. Bust a couple nights then sleep in it. Don't you try to run where that pussy going. I eat cray on the weekday. Weekend, her 3 friends. Got a nigga going off the deep end. Cause I'm deep in when I dove in. I'm so in when I go in. Pussy feeling something like the ocean. She ain't even let a nigga know when. You just gonna leave a nigga soaking. I'm with that and I get that. Finna send a nigga bitch back. Hold up. I'm nasty and I know that. Your ass big, so throw that. Yeah, bitch, throw that. Hold up. Hold up. My dick so swole up. Deep throat, throw up. Bad bitches know where I want your
face down.
Face down.
Ass up, that's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. Face down, ass.
Thank you again, and you know we're gonna keep this.
Up, that's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck.
Couple bad independent women in my section. You be tricking dollars, I don't even pay attention. And I do be popping bottles, and I don't think it's a problem to just hold up. Let me open up with this ganja. Put face down, ass up. Oh, you think you all that? I say that we see what's up in play. Let's see who go back. And now you mad, saying that I treat you bad. Cause when I treat you how I treat you and leave you, you be needing bags. Now we at Magic and Onyx trying to see what's happening. Trust me, I throw this bag. She about to say like that be the plan. See the plan, come alone and go back home. And if they act like they don't know, play this motherfucking song.
Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck. There's some hoes in this house tryna fuck.
Every consumer has a small box in his head. Our job is to manipulate the consumer by arousing his desires, and then we satisfy those desires for a fixed price. It's called advertising.
Listerine green
guitar, sick cream, jalapeno, I'm a thick cruise, Mama Mia rods, jalapeno peppers, quick mean laws, brick scene, mirage cars, quick mean cars, strict law, make you pull up, check your pot, shot aqua, you got the potion, you out of lotion, call it aqua, talk you on watch, saw ox, lot to a cot, pour the road, store the road, you spot too hot, here you go, ma, you kill, that's Coco Mango, she let her handle her man's in your tango, bangle, shangle, no gangs, strangle, rank grill, real shade, still back to the echo, F to the N and R, two thieves, so bum in the car, but never had no beef, so alhamdulillah, it's all Ellie Booty's top grillers, no Mercedes sign, double nuggets with the movie cop killer 89, on the line on the third like you are, word is a bond, that's on the dawn, Shukran, Afwan, Ram their dawn, nigga shooter of the Prophet Muhammad, the raised law.
He's right. They knows the rules. They got no rules before you can break the rules. That is a revolution. Don't you understand?
Yo, quick to shank shit. I'm the wrong bastard. The box of bang with have a cop for an appetizer. Put a pig in the blanket. Do not a believer. Leave you locked in the freezer. I terminate you. I still a beast. When I make the gun clap like gonorrhea, removing the unity instead of improving the community. Promote racist stereotypes and good buffoonery. I come from the slum, never minded. Claiming you a king with a kingdom. You the king of the dumb, deaf, blinded. A real life action hero. I don't need no stunt doubles. My dick is dirty instead of semen. I spit mud puddles. They devils from pop labels to underground hip hop jive supporting apartheid. Raucous was Rupert Murdoch. I got the worst rep twice. Worst representation. Worst reputation. Anybody got a recommendation? Land raper. The smile in your face. Hair shaking. The rhyme to write is so rough. I use the pages for sandpaper. Ain't shit in life. I regret. Fuck the devil. I'm God's reject. I move forward. Persevere with each step. Take a deep breath. Meet death. I'm pulling out weapons like G-Dev. I swim on the beat. You ain't even get your feet wet. Come on. Come on.
I know what I feel. You're corrupt.
It's actually kind of nice because last week was so crazy. You know what I mean? But it was all good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you can have a seat right there.
Yo, hey yo, back in 88, son was getting a little paper. Pulled a few strings, dropped the fat rope cables. Pushed the white mercury staple. No polar heat, Ferragamo marks on his feet. Circles whisper, you can smell the deceit. They greet me like peach to blend and trying to befriend. To get up underneath the skin, my long wind. I blow your head, pinch the grease. Murder one team, Marcelini noodle handling. Microphone fiend, step into the rhythm. This is how I'm serving them. No need for medical attention, I just murdered them. I just murdered. I'm a dip diver, socializer. I'm a rat top boom and 89er. They say what if I die? You should have at least grown. It's funny, I'm mad famous for being unknown. Just a dirty motherfucker, they hate my guts. All I talk about is bitches and busting nuts. Yeah, I got a foul mouth, yeah, I cuss too much. I'm just a Ricky Ricardo, ridiculous. And I ain't got no fly whip, I still ride the bus. I got mixed blood green on the scene with us. Hospitable, hittable, fluid, and takeable, flippable, biblical, lyrical. Take every syllable, little, profitable, visible, little, pitiful, fiscal, the middle, you tickle, you typical. Yeah, I talk shit, I'm cocky with it. It's hard for you to admit it, but I'm one of the best in it. My mind is haunted, filled with the extension of slaves to torment. Slow down my steps, 1 foot from the grave to carnage. A young black male's electron gate. Son of the morning, roasting soul. Tell minister come pray. It's gun trade inside a smoky apartment. Slow process, 1-9, 2 texts, 4 revolvers. Cold overboard the kettles. It's like we struck all in the ghetto. We supplied to addicts. The devil work, practice. It's like the search backwards till they throw that dirt on our casket and that's it. And I live where the faith is not in. I'm just a
dean of the projects, being similar to Osama's. An old man at the top of the stairs, he just scared, cause his mind ain't there. Victim of the war, told us signs and times is near. He dropped the jewels, took the bomb up in. He said he was a linebacker for the Bears. Said he'd get it all back while he's crying his tears. Yeah, it's that real shit that made me. That music from the 80s, the childs of the 70s. I live long till they bury me, 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 bury me.
Passed on there. But I am the regional director for the Synopsis organization.
Welcome to the reign of the mentally deranged. This ain't lunatic, it's finally coming of age. You went and that's great, but the mistake you made is you walked straight through the gate without checking it safe. Now it's too late to think of escape when your hands are cable tied and I'm licking your face, using your shoulder blades to fix the itch on my waist. Before I'm kicking out a quit on which you're bound and place. Keep screaming for help, you'll never get saved. Left breathless like when they take the mask off of pain. Curiosity means that you're drawn to me. You're now the main part in my story's gory scene. I'm a nice guy, that's very important to me, so I'll choke you to sleep before I pull out your teeth. Wake up, cold sweat, think you was a dream. Brain fucked by the puppet master, can't avoid the scene.
You fucked up now, you're gonna be my next meeting.
The sea's been planted, now your mind's enchanted. You're fighting, getting light, and now your bruises are masking. Shone a light on life, just like I'm unmasking a superhero for the first time without asking. The point is, everything you thought you once knew takes a different sort of meaning from another person's view. Like the kids that used to pick on you when you were smaller, hung in the crew that slapped you up cause they were cooler. Now you're much bigger, got more weight, you're much taller. They're not hanging in that gang up on the street corner. Without saying too much, you know what you think. Welcome to the puppet show, we live on instinct. Time to stand up, separate emotion from brainwave. I'm the puppet master living up to my namesake. That's me taking every show and quickly transforming him to be the guy in the third verse or the warning.
You fucked up now, you're gonna be my next meeting.
When the bushes rustle and the floorboards are creaking, receive a phone call and breathing, nobody speaking. You can rush to the door, secure it decent, but chances are you're actually looking to creeping. Phone calls, shadow games, on a screen thing, screaming and pleading while stopping proceeding till you breathe your last breath and every artery's bleeding, bodies beaten, mutilated, covered in semen. No matter sex or size, there's no escaping the demon. Once the puppet master marched your card and handed the deed in, you can try and run away, escape the nightmare, stop for air, turn around, but guess what? He's right there. I told you that there's no escape. He knows every move you're making, flirting with the cycle. Now you're paid cause you made him wait. To all you listening, my puppet's ready to play. Here's an invite, come down to the woods today.
Rather well. Now it's just a matter of me trying to get courts
You were not alone. If I wanted to, I could palm the globe and leave a hole like a bullet to Bin Laden's dome. You're about to enter the thoughts of a last prophet. I walk with alien currency in my back pocket. My brain lacks logic, like one loves laptop when it last crashed cause somebody spilled the glass on it. Or let the lid split on the back of the mixer. Now the jack and the liquor have the accidents happening quick. I'm not insane, I just rock with a clot to the vein. And a lot of pain got me gobbling shots to the brain. I stay panicked. I watch humanity damage and manhandle the planet. Nobody seems to understand it. Life is a mess, and I'm likely depressed. Like I'm watching all my family members fight to the death. And in the midst of this, rap is falling apart. Kids are saying absolutely nothing, they calling it art. Fuck swag if your whole flow trash, your voice heinous. Every verse poorly executed. Troy Davis, when in battles we can get it on. As long as we strap like an Indian baby and bring extra arms. This is a massacre, a massive attack. So back when the pacifistic pastor would have to react. It's only getting hotter, say goodbye to the morning. The world that you will die in is not the one you were born in. I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you. What's going on? I am insane, shots to the brain. Kinetics of one love. Hello, I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you. What's going on? I am insane, that's another name. Kinetics in your head, I'm holding a gun, so I know opponents will run. I've been sick since humans had opposable thumbs. I've been sick since I picked up a pen in the 3rd grade. My wordplay plays with words in absurd ways. Rap today, it's all little kids and mermaids. Congratulations, you finally hit your first grade. And I'm sick of these students with the shittiest music, talking about they bought hard like they were the first to do it. They were the first person to hit a virgin. Dropping a whole album with a bunch of topics no one is concerned with. Come on, son, look at your life, it's so bland. Really think you'll be respected by your grown man? So what if you can buy everyone at the bar beer? You haven't written a meaningful song in your whole career. I promise you will not have relevance here long. What happens when that partying element wears off? You ain't a performer, you just stumble across bars like them 3 hikers captured on the Iranian border. Fuck with my producer, you could get your ass trampled. Tackles in a massive avalanche of brass anthems. The whole production is a bad example. You're not a musician, all you do is just push buttons and stack samples. Hand me that last handle, I'll face that Jack Daniels, and I still out-rap with you rappers who act manly. Fuck your little bag, your daddy, or you could have it back. Come to my department, I'm pumping off of a flat. But actually, let it speak for itself, cause we have a track record unlike anyone else. So I take all your advice and I throw it inside a garbage truck. You tell me to dumb it down, cause you are smart enough. I'm headed here, I don't need you as a fan. You're just embarrassed, I dropped the reference, you didn't understand. Hello, I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you, what's going on? I am insane, shots to the brain. Kinetics of one love. Hello, I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you, what's going on? I am insane, it's an overthink. Kinetics in your head flowing. Hello, I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you, what's going on? I am insane, shots to the brain, shots to the brain. Hello, I am kinetics, I am a computer. I am here to move you, what's going on? I am insane, you get to know my name.
K-1L. Welcome to planet Earth.
For the one, DBraxx on the beat, you better get your book out and write your rhymes to this. Fuck fame, I studied the fame closely. Better look out when the vital one rips. Murder every track that I'm on. Got the confidence, don't know what this nonsense is. Fuck fame, I studied the fame closely. Yeah, no one is as strong as this. Bring heat to you bastards. I got to rhyme with confidence, not the guy who's on your skin. Cause I got the strongest grip on this big pen in my fist. What's wrong with this sick kid? I need the crucial medicine fix. Stupid adrenaline mix with music heavy as 70 bricks. Heavily devil that sits, meditating so anger trips, unelevated in bits. What's making this MC tick? With amazing Avenger grip, spit till there's blood on my lips. I'm built to withstand the struggle and shit. I'm floating adrift, hoping my gift get your mind open and swift. With words breaking the bits, over the riff, flow with the hits, I can go with a bit. Hoping you know what this riff is, creating a rift. As the beat's making you shift and the heat's making your sweat drip. What? Yeah, you better get your book out and write your rhymes to this. Murder every track that I'm on. Better look out when the vital one rips. Fuck fame, I studied the fame closely. Got the confidence, don't know what this nonsense is. Bring heat to you bastards. Yeah, no one is as strong as this. I'm still the outstanding trouble man with the missing bits of life's puzzle in my hand, traveling the land across the blue mountains and the red sand. I rock tracks like the overland,
smash raps like armies in Afghanistan. Let go of that mic in your hand. Don't think you can spit at me, man. Lip sync studio MCs. Damn, I slam. Soon to be more known, yo, that's the plan. Full blown homegrown talent, that's your demand. You need some confidence, not in a gram or a can. Yeah, just look inside yourself, man. What? Look inside yourself, man. Got the confidence.
Yeah, big up to Vital One Down Under. Vital One, big up to all the artists that from that set. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep doing that the rest of the show. You know what? We got a special guest in the building. Other than BSQ magazine, indie lifestyle magazine, which is dope. BSQmagazine.com. Go out and support. You know what? We've got Jerry Bell in the building, and also Ibrahim, his co-host, 2 new broadcasters here on LA Talk Live. What's going on, man?
Oh, you got it.
Go and speak into that microphone. You know what I mean?
You on the air?
You on the air, dude. You know how it works. You better get used to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm used to being on the air, but not from this standpoint.
It's all good. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Excellent. You know what? So if you don't know who Jerry Bell is, how much time you have? You know what I'm saying? You can Google him, you know what I mean? But one thing, he's a part of this family now. Tell us about your new show real quick.
My show is based on R&B. It's called Jerry Bell's Soul R&B Classics. And it will be introducing a lot of different artists that, we have lost quite a few artists. We've lost, like Michael Jackson, James Brown, Isaac Hayes, and the list goes on. And a lot of the artists are still dying. As a matter of fact, for those who don't know of the Ohio Players, Sugarfoot, who was one of the founders of the Ohio Players and the main guitar player and voice, just passed. Yeah. So, Luther Vandross. I mean, a lot of different R&B, real music, soul players have been passing on. And my reasoning for wanting to do my own show is to keep people remembering the music, because R&B is our history. Mm-hmm. It's the history of who we are. It's the history of music itself and where it stemmed from and where soul came and stemmed from. Mm-hmm. So this is the reason for that. And plus, I come from a family that is very strong musically inclined.
Well, I mean, let's just go ahead and put it out there. I mean, you were what I know about you. You were a part of the Daz Band.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And and if you don't know the Daz Band, man, go ahead and Google them because it'll pop up instantly. Trust me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even before Daz Band, I used to be with a group called New Birth.
Okay.
Which we started out in the 70s, 1971. And originally, we were 2 bands in one. We were called the Nightlighters and New Birth. We had albums out on both, and at that time we were signed to RCA Records and another company called Buddha. And the Nightlighters, we were the musicians. New Birth were the singers.
Okay.
And the Nightlighters, we were the backup band actually for Bobby Womack.
Oh wow.
And then we merged. Harvey Fuqua, who was with Motown at the time, one of the runners from Motown, he had a group called Harvey and the Moonglows, which was Harvey Fuqua, Marvin Gaye, and Berry Gordy.
Oh wow.
And they actually put us in motion, and we were in competition a lot with like the Earth, Wind and Fires, and then my cousin Robert Cool Bell from Kool and the Gang, and on and on.
Hold on. Okay. A light just went off. Oh wow. Okay, so your whole family, you just grew up. It's just what you were meant to do in life.
Yeah. My oldest brother, his name is Archie Bell. He had a group called Archie Bell and the Drells.
Oh right.
And then we had one family member named Tom Bell.
I knew I should have told my mama to listen tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because she be screaming right now.
Yeah, man. One of our family members, his name is Tom Bell. He was one of the greater composers for the Philly sound. We had a company called Gamble, Huff and Bell.
Oh, wow.
Which was Philly International Records, where we produced Teddy Pendergrass, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Billy Paul, me and Mrs. Jones. My writing partners was Mike Fatton and Whitehead, who did Ain't No Stopping Us Now. So we did a lot of hits on the OJ.
Man, that's why I love being here every Wednesday, because hold on, you just never know what's going to happen, who you're going to talk to, you know, golly, you know what I mean? Let me stop you just for half a second, you know what I mean? Because we have Ibrahim, you know, over to my left. How you doing, sir? Let me get you on there. Here we go.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So you're going to be the co-host?
Yes.
To this show. What are you calling it? What's the show called?
Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics.
Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics. Mm-hmm. And so, what's your part in this? Are you a musician as well, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually I went back to Africa and trained classically as a jali, which is the West African tradition of music, history, storytelling. It's very difficult to define what a jali is, but everything that we have here in Western music, which is ultimately comes from the African slaves here, comes ultimately from the jali tradition. And the jali can't be centralized to one location. The French call them the griots. They're seen all over Africa, from Ethiopia to Mali in the West. And that tradition, you'll find the seeds of everything we do here in that tradition. You'll find, you can go, I mean, I was playing some music on the way over here for Brother Bell, and just the other day, and he's like, is this a bass? And I went, no, that's the hunter's harp. And there's a canon of...
How long were you studying that or learning that?
I've been studying as a jali for about 4 years now.
Wow.
And I was initiated in Africa, and there's a whole collection of stories, there's a whole history that you have to learn, there's a genealogy, the whole nine, and then...
You just don't walk in and fill out an application and say,
exactly,
I want to be a jelly.
Yeah, and there's an oath to fulfill, the whole nine. So it's, and then it's more specifically, and to the point, is the fact that because I'm not from there, I'm from here, from Oakland originally.
Okay.
The role that I'm supposed to play is, the return home. Being the jali for this environment. Because when I was there in Africa, there was endless questions about, what went on there, what was the history there, and the things that I was sharing with them, they were astonished because even their history they don't have a full understanding of what exactly went over here. They're surprised.
And I'm sorry, which country were you in?
Let's see.
Or traveling all throughout?
I was throughout much of West Africa, so Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, a number of countries in that neighboring area.
Now, did each country specialize in a particular part of this tradition, or is it just...
Well, Africa is an interesting place because you go from village to village and the culture is very different. Mm-hmm. And even the people, that's why it's always difficult when they refer to tribal conflicts. I mean, such a thing does not exist in Africa. Even within a tribe, there are groups of people who are very divergent from one another. That just like, you're here in the United States and, somebody from Oakland versus a dude in San Francisco. I mean, I've got a friend from the city. Right. And our cultures are very different. Right. And we don't get along sometimes. Right. There's rivalries there. And there's different cultural things between us, right? That's the same thing as you see Philadelphia and New York. There's two different realities, right? And that's the same thing that you're going to see sometimes from village to village, where they're literally 4 hours away from each other, and they've got completely different reality going on.
So, I mean, wow. So I'm listening to the combination of, steeply, rooted in American R&B soul world, and you go off from the city back to Africa to learn this tradition that, I read a little bit, but I've never heard of that before. You know what I mean? And I'm sure most people haven't. You know what I mean?
Even those who are, for example, there's a sister from Senegal who does my hair sometimes.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in her chair, and she's listening to the rap music, and she's laughing. She said, all my life grew up listening to this stuff, and when I come here, people act like it's new. I said, what do you mean? She said, this is what the Jalis do.
Wow.
When you go to a Jali and you ask them to give the history of your people, your ancestors, or the history of this particular region you're from, they go into this rhythmic cadence as they play music. And as they're doing the rhythmic cadence, they're telling you the story, where your people migrated from, why you shouldn't eat certain foods because these foods were, are considered sacred amongst your people. So that like this animal shouldn't be killed and you shouldn't eat it, and all these kinds of things that make you an individual.
What? This show is going to be bomb. What days is it going to be on?
On Wednesdays from 2 to 4.
Wednesday, 2 to 4. It's a perfect time because it's just before my show, so I know I can catch the last hour of it at least.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm the lucky one. Thank you.
We want to not just entertain, but we want to teach, because people really need to know history, not his story, but history. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is not being told. You know, they will sell you what they want you to see. Hollywood is a trip, you know, so it gives you all of what they want you to see, but not give you the truth of what is real. So,
and to his point, you know, in regards to what this show is about, hip hop started off as a voice of dissonance.
Right.
Now, the first foreigner who wrote about Mali when he traveled to it, the thing that puzzled him the most is he noticed there were this group of individuals. He didn't have a name for them, but they were the Jali. And he stood before the emperor and all the nobles, and they made fun of each one of them. They made fun of their mamas, they made fun of their grandmamas. And he's like, in any other country, these people would be killed for this type of behavior, but this is codified in the culture. And then, furthermore, the women would come forward, and when they would start talking about the problems in society, they would do it in this rhythmic cadence. So he started to realize that music was essential to the very political process that went on in Africa. That what we consider rap music today was literally their voice of dissonance back then. And
wow,
that's
like DNA,
exactly,
spiritual deep.
And it keeps, you know, the forms keep coming back. They keep revitalizing themselves because we continue to do the same things that we were doing before. And now our voice of dissonance is becoming the voice of dissonance for the world, because you can go anywhere in the world and people are protesting using hip hop.
Tell me, man, how do you pronounce this Jali? I mean, how do you spell it? Because I need to go and check this out.
Jali.
Jali. Jali.
Jali. And the pronunciation has to be proper.
Yes.
Oh, what? I'm over here butchering it. Jali. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? What's going to be interesting about this show too is that we both are extensive travelers. You know. He travels mostly to Africa. I've spent some time in West Africa as well, but the majority of my time was spent in the East, in Japan and China, Vietnam.
I'm going to interject because Richard Carr, the general manager, handed me a magazine with you on the front.
Oh yeah.
Karate.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that wrong?
It's karate.
I knew something was going to be correct.
Yeah,
karate.
But yeah, I speak 7 languages, and on our show we're going to get an opportunity. You know, we can relate to a lot of different people, a lot of different callers, but internationally that call in Japanese, you know, Korean, Chinese.
What when you talk about, because you know when you travel and you hear especially our music and abroad, people just, I mean, we love it because it's just part of what it is. But you know, over there, it's like what?
Let me tell you something. You know, the beautiful thing about traveling abroad, here you're only as good as your last hit. Overseas, you are always a superstar. Always. I cut a record on MCA in 1980. I did a solo album on the MCA label in 1980 called Winter Love Affair, and the record was so here in the 80s. I just got a call from Germany 2 days ago. The record is #1 again on their charts because they replay it.
Deutschland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They replay it over, and they play your music over and over. South of France, Italy, Paris. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, and when we go, the reception is overwhelming.
Speaking of Germany, big up to Connect Game and Babylon Management. I haven't forgotten about y'all. All right, sorry.
Yeah, big up to you guys.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, cool. Man, I mean.
So you know what? You know, Richard, I know you have a new single out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hip hop based. There's some hip hop going on.
Right. Actually, the group New Birth that I was explaining to you about, we had a record out in 1973 called "It's Been Such a Long Time," the album, and on that album was a record called "Wildflower." We did "We'll Let Her Cry for She's a Lady." That was our biggest hit. But "Been Such a Long Time" was the opposite side of that, and it also became a number one record. So what I did was I went back and when I'm signed now to Lotus Records, Bungalow Universal.
Okay.
So they said, well, look, bring us something. So I said, okay, what can I think of that would be good for this time period? So I went back and got "Been Such a Long Time" and re-recorded it all over again, and put I did 3 versions to it. 1, I did a jazz version. 2, I sang it with an R&B feel to it, and then 3, I did the hip hop version on it. So you have the hip hop version.
Check it out. Well, and how apropos. You know what? I want to talk to you about how music is made now versus when you were doing your thing. But let's check out the song "Been Such a Long Time," the hip hop version.
Yeah. Loud, baby. Yeah. Do it. Jerry Bell. Baby. An automatic. Indestructible. Let's go. Been such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember way back when we used to do that paper grind. Been such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember when we used to play someday that we would shine. I look at you and go way back to '94. I didn't want to struggle or hustle just like my daddy, yo. You helped me make a change. You helped me up my game. Did everything we could. We even had to slang things. Somehow we made a change. Jumpstart this music, man. And after everything, we lost ourselves along the way. I wanna go back in the days. You and I was so crazy. It's all a blur. I must concur. Bring back that purple rain. It's such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember way back when we used to do that paper grind. It's such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember when we used to play some day that we would shine. Hey. Yo, I've been really good. I made it out the hood. Got property and Mercedes, just like you knew I would. You had my back for real. You told me I was ill. You pumped me up. You made me feel like I could get a deal. Ain't nobody ever had that. Power that made me wanna be sex. Love that make me wanna go back. I never knew where you was at. You met somebody new. I kept looking for you. Hey, it's all a blur. I must concur. Bring back that old school. Hey, bring back that old school. Sherry Bell, y'all. Let's get it, man. I remember way back when you used to run the streets with me. I remember way back when you used to catch a case of me. I remember way back when you played that Cherry Bell CD. I remember way back, baby. I remember way back. I remember way back when you used to run those streets with me. I remember way back when you used to catch a case of me. I remember way back when you played that Cherry Bell CD. I remember way back. Hey, I remember way back. Hey, it's such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember way back when we used to do that big around. It's such a long time. You always on my mind. I remember when we used to play some day that we were shy. Check it. Oh baby, yeah. Yeah. New school. Oh baby, yeah. Old school. Fusion. Oh baby, yeah. Fusion. Automatics. Crispy futuristic machine.
Okay. I see what you got going on. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna get your microphone swivel there. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good look.
Thank you.
Now who's rapping on this?
His name is Automatic Vanderveer.
Automatic Vanderveer.
Yeah.
LA cat or?
Yeah, actually he's from New York.
Okay.
But he lives in LA now.
Okay.
He's saying like now from Philly.
Right on. That's right. You're from Philly. You were Richard Carr, the general manager. So that's right. Right on, man.
Philly,
that's
baby.
Great. So the song's been released.
Oh yeah, the song. You can get it on iTunes, Amazon.com. Anybody want to find me? They can find me on Jerry Bell Daz on Facebook. Or you can. I got a music video out on YouTube. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
You're out there, doing well.
Yeah.
Plug in his name. I'm telling you, a gazillion things will pop up. But one thing I have to talk about is that, I mean, you're not just a one-trick pony. It's more than music going on here. You know, even though it's a lot of it. I mean, you are a martial artist.
Right.
Like the real deal.
I would say so.
500 matches, 0 losses,
and no defeats.
500. How does one do that? How long have you been? Did you study?
I've been doing martial arts since I was 10 years old, and I started out in Philadelphia, trained in Japan for a very long time. I started in this organization called Kyokushinkai under a master by the name of Oyama Mastatsu. Oyama is known for killing a bull with his bare hand. And they used to call him,
as in a cow.
As in a cow. They call him the God Hand. If you pull him up online, you can pull up. If you pull up Kyokushinkai or Oyama Karate, his system comes up on YouTube. It was the best place to do it. You know, you can find him up on YouTube. But we have a thing called. It started out with the 10-man fight. Then it goes into the 20-man fight. Then it goes into 100-man fight. And then it goes into the 200-man fight.
As in 200 men?
Opponents, yeah. And what it is that it's like the King of the Hill. Okay. You fight the first man. You get no rest. Once the match is finished with him, then they send another one up. Then the match is finished, they send another one. And the match is finished, they send another one until you get through all the matches. If you last that long. And then
is this an all-day event?
It actually goes on for 3 days.
Okay.
And then the other competitions that I did was underground fighting. I did a lot of that throughout Hong Kong and China and Malaysia, Indonesia, where they had death matches. It's funny, you know, if you pull me up under Grandmaster Jerry Bell.
You see, I'm writing this down.
You can get a lot of information about my martial arts history. I was overseas competing quite a bit, and there was a guy that walked up on me one day, this little white guy, and he says, I'm a newspaper reporter from America. I'd like to do a story on you. So I said, okay. You know, I'm competing. He said, you're good. I've never seen anybody like this before. So 3 years later, I come back stateside to the U.S. and there was a movie out called Bloodsport.
Not
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Van Damme. Right.
He was the star of the movie, but this guy named Frank Dukes was the guy who claimed that it was him. It was his life story, and he wrote this, and so Hollywood bought it. And of course, you know, it can never be a black man or a Hispanic brother, or, you know what I mean, it has to be a white boy that they're going to make the superhero, right, which they constantly do. And so this movie was put out. But if you go on to if you pull up Grandmaster Jerry Bell and you go on either Yahoo it or Google it, there are different magazines that have written up articles on me, or people that have actually researched it, that have been to the Far East, and they've done the research on it and found out that in fact it is me, and the story was about me, and it wasn't this guy, you know, that he was a liar. So
wow. And how long were you fighting? How long a career was that?
God, man, I'm 62 now. So I've been in the fight game. Well, I don't fight anymore. I retired, but the last fight I had was 2004 that I won.
Wow.
I was in Japan. So I had fought from at the age of 17 all the way up to year 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so
including the United States too. I've also competed here and never lost a match here.
Wow. How come were you in the Olympics or anything like that, or was
No, they didn't have it in the Olympics. They just had a lot of different karate tournaments and international tournaments. And I fought also in a system called Shotokan karate.
And how you're an African American brother, or I mean,
a Moor.
What was that? A Moor, sorry. You know, you're a Moor.
Yes.
And so we're all Moors, you know, in this room. You know what I mean? So they receive you? You know, was it a trip at all, or was it just if you can do it, it's all good?
The amazing thing, like I said, I speak 7 languages. So one of the things that I learned about being overseas was when you learn the language, then the people respect you because they feel as though you respect their culture and that you are trying your best to communicate, even if it's not fully, you know, if you're speaking broken English or what have you.
You're giving it a go.
You know what I mean? And so they gave me big ups, you know, for the fact that, and plus, come on, man, who the greatest warriors?
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So,
No doubt.
And then my co-host, right?
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
He's a master. He's a master in an art called capoeira.
Oh, Brazil?
Yeah, Brazil. Well, actually,
but it's
from
still Africa.
Yeah.
It's from Africa, right?
I mean, that was also part of the trip, is that I went back and studied. It's a tricky thing, you know. Africa, in terms of martial arts, is where China was before Bruce Lee, where things were very secretive and people who were not from that culture were not taught. And there were still certain things that I could witness, but I couldn't be in part of because it was specific to a certain caste of people, and only they practiced it.
Okay.
So no matter what I said or did, there was no way. But it was a tricky sort of non-verbal way of communicating that I was trying to gain access to that type of information, and then eventually individuals would be like, "Oh, let me show you something." And even the way they show you things in Africa, because like one of the myths that's told about capoeira is that it's disguised as a dance by the slaves. But really in Brazil, any expression of African behavior was stamped out. So the idea of Africans dancing as Africans and that somehow masked it was ludicrous. The reality was that all African martial arts are taught through dances. The dances are the katas. And so you'll do these dances all day long. And when I say all day, I mean training sessions for like 8 hours long. And when you finally have it to the point where it's like walking or breathing, then you start to explore the techniques that come out of those movements. So, I mean, even today, when I see, because I have friends who teach African dance or will do performances, I'm watching these dancers and they're trained, and but because of how I was trained, I can see their dances and I can see the information that's been codified in the dance. I can see the movements and the techniques, even though they won't know and realize it.
Right.
And so, I mean, there'll be times where there's a couple of women who teach African dance here in LA, and I'll go to them occasionally and say, "Hey, can you show me some dances?" and learn from them because I'm trying to absorb.
Sure.
So it's a trip. And so once I went through that process and came back, for me, like when I left, there was a huge argument amongst people over, you know, how much of capoeira came from Africa and whatnot. And when I came back, for me, the argument was no longer about how much of capoeira came from Africa. I mean, it's clear all of it came from Africa. The reality for me was how much was lost in transmission at this point, because I saw things there that
weren't retained in Brazil.
Would make, I mean, it's scattered.
Okay.
There's different traditions that have different, like capoeira is an amalgam of different African traditions. But if you go down one of those paths, certain traditions, there's certain things. I mean, I'll give you a quick example. There's 2 groups. One is Congo, and the other one is in Nigeria. Now in Congo, they have breathing techniques and very subtle motions that you learn. That's kind of like what the Chinese call denmark, which is death touches or hitting nerve endings and nerve clusters. That's all the Congolese stuff. And the only people who can really learn that are the people who were a part of the pre-colonial sort of royal guard. Now, if you go to Nigeria, there's a group called the Ogboni Society, which are a group of men and women who are associated with the ancestors. And even the government of Nigeria is afraid of the Ogboni Society.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
If you go outside and there's these 2 swords, one with a man's, the pommel of the sword is shaped like a man and the pommel of the other sword is shaped like a woman. If those 2 swords are stuck in your, like, the lawn or the front yard of your home, that means you have to go see the Ogboni, because they have.
And you go.
Because if you don't, they actually have a a cadre of trained. I don't want to say assassins, but they're people who come get you. So,
and there's somebody that just logged on and is like, okay, I thought I was listening to Rap Project. This dude's on here talking about, but I'm lucky. I mean, because, wow, this is Ibrahim speaking, and we have Jerry Bell, and go ahead, man.
Now, I'm not a part of that society, so I couldn't learn any of that stuff. I didn't even get to witness that stuff because they're extremely secretive. But I did witness government behavior towards those people. Like if one of those individuals walk in the room and there's certain things that they wear or they do that shows
who they are,
people become visibly afraid because they're heavy cats.
And plus they're stooped in what people call here voodoo. It's called voodoo.
Okay.
Very, very strong. Very strong voodoo.
Yeah, there's a lot of I've seen things. I've seen some things. So
this is
only new.
This is one of the discussions.
That's why you have to tune into their show because maybe you'll find out.
That's right.
Wednesdays 4 to
4. No, it's 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Jerry Bell and Ibrahim's new show. It's going to be off the chain. Oh my God.
and I gotta give big ups. I also studied under a system called Sanukis. Sanukis was created by a brother from New York by the name of Dr. Moses Powell. If you pull up Dr. Moses Powell, you can find out. You'll see the organization is huge, and we vibe very strong. We're very big on the East Coast, all throughout the Caribbean. And Sanukis means urban combat. So it was designed for what goes on in the urban society now as far as protecting yourself.
Wow.
And I have a seminar coming up on February the 23rd here in Los Angeles. I'll have more of that information. I'll give it up on the show, and plus I'll get it to you too.
See, come on. You never know what you're going to get when you turn on to the Rap Project every Wednesday, 7 to 9. This is what we do. We're going to take a little bit of break, get some water and such. But you know what? Right now, I'm going to do something a little different, a little departure from music. I'm going to play a little bit of the Beats, Rhymes, and Life documentary. You know what I'm saying? Tribe Called Quest.
Yes,
so get a little love on that and enjoy it, and we'll be back.
The Tribe
Called Quest.
That's right.
Can't never put a finger on Q-Tip, even though we've known each other longer than anybody in this world outside of our respective families. I guess you could call it a love-hate relationship.
I'm not gonna say fucking written by Tip or produced by Tip because it's about the tribe. It's about the fucking unit, B. It's about all of us. I didn't single myself out to be the fucking Ginsu master of this shit, B.
Outside of this music is a life, and what's disappointing is seeing the path that people who don't have a blood tie but have a kinship is taking a separation, and that's always disappointing.
People trying to shit on hip hop, but we are representative today that we are still here, we're still strong. So I want everybody to put a celebrating fist up in the air, everybody. But we all right here, you know what I'm saying? We represent this philosophy, this group of ideas. I look out in the car, I see red, I see black. It makes me feel proud to be a part of it. So on the count of 3, I want us all to say power. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Power to the people. We got it, man. Please shout it out. We love y'all. That's all we're doing.
We do have to move on. Good things do come to an end.
Help me out, help me out, help me out.
Tip, you think that's it?
Mm-hmm. Did you ask them that? Did you ask all of you that?
About the last show?
You said you think it was last. Did you ask them the same
I
thing?
asked all you guys.
And what they said? Same thing, right?
Yeah. Everybody said the same thing.
That is the last one, right?
Yeah.
What? You asked Fife, right? What did he say?
Everybody, all four of you.
Said it's over, right?
Everybody said that.
Said what?
That this was the last one.
Yeah. That's it. Only way we'd be on Slaves Together ever again, we get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I did everything I could do. 20 years, man. Too old and shit. I'm out. It's a wrap, brother.
A tribe called Quest consists of 4 members: Fife Dog, Ali Shahid Muhammad, Q-Tip, and Jerobi. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y.
Kick it? Yes, you can. Can I 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 kick it? Yes, you can. I'm born. Rewind for a second. A Tribe Called Quest met up like this. I've known Q-Tip since we were about 2 years old. Played Little League Baseball, played football, played all the sports. I pretty much grew up with him. We're practically godbrothers.
We met in church and basically grew up together. We were best friends, you know what I'm saying? Fife and I didn't live on the same block, you know, we kind of lived in the same area. He lived like right off of Linden, kind of on the good side. I lived on the other side.
In the days on the boulevard of Linden, we used to kick routines and the presence was fitting. It was I, the abstract.
And me, the 5-footer. I kicks the mad style, so step off the Frankfurter. I lived with my mom and dad, but a lot of times on the weekends I'd be at my grandmother's house because she took me to church or whatever. And the church is 7-day Adventist. So, you know, from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday, your mind had to be on nobody but God. Like, everything else is dead. So I had to sneak and watch Soul Train. I had to sneak and watch Scooby-Doo or whatever cartoon was popping off at the time. But when it came to the block parties and the hip-hop, once I saw them grabbing mics and getting busy, I risked my livelihood, getting kicked out of the house and everything just to be a part of it.
we were mesmerized by the hip hop. He was the one who said to me, yo, you should rhyme. I'm gonna rhyme, you should rhyme. So we was just always doing it, just fucking around, you know what I mean?
And how old are you at this time?
Like 9.
And he said you should rhyme.
Yeah.
And he started rhyming.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're from the same area pretty much as Run DMC, LL Cool J, you know what I'm saying? So those guys were our idols. It wasn't even about coming up with your own cadences and flows. It was all about, yo, I want to be like them dudes.
Say ho! Say ho! Ho! Say ho, ho, ho!
Everybody in. I thought it was just
Okay,
me.
okay.
But everybody in.
Now,
the hip hop shit was hot.
as far as I'm concerned, one of the dopest hip hop groups that ever existed, period. You know what I'm saying? You cannot hate on the tribe. You know, I was just talking with Ibrahim here, and, you know, for those of you that don't know, and, you know, first off, go check out this full documentary. Maybe I'll play another 10 minutes next week or something, but check out the full documentary, Beats, Rhymes, and Life. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fan of hip hop and you want to know more, you want to learn, you know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to learn, you know what I mean? Check out this documentary. But when they came out, I mean, that was a time, this was so like, what is that?
Yeah.
In a great way. What is that? Who speaks those words? You know what I mean? And I know you were saying about your experience, you know, and, you know.
At the time, you know, because throughout the 80s, it was party, you know, and no one was thinking about anything of any depth, right? Like, disco had pretty much moved in and killed all of that, right? Then all of a sudden, early 90s, I remember that first song that came out, Don't Push Me Because I'm Too Close to the Edge.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this new thing is coming. And that's the crazy thing about being black folks is stuff comes up out of our culture and we don't even expect it, right? We're like sitting there going, what's this?
Right.
You know?
Where did that come from?
And it was all coming out of New York at that time, right? And I was growing up in Oakland at the time, and I think at the time.
And having a West Coast perspective is so different. I mean, because I've learned so much about West Coast hip hop. I mean, I thought I listened to West Coast hip hop back in the day, but I really realized, whoa, I didn't know about all that about that and this person and that person. But anyways, you know.
Yeah, I remember. I remember my first, like, my older brother was sneaking like 2 Short albums into the house, and my father would catch them and throw them away, right?
No doubt.
And I was just, you would hear it, and my father. It was interesting because my parents, they didn't like hip hop until Public Enemy came on the scene.
All right.
Then they were like, okay.
Like most parents from that.
they were like, okay, we can get with this, we can get with that.
Right. So, I mean, what do you think about hip hop? You know, have you always embraced it, or Mr. Bell?
My perspective on hip hop, you know, when I listen to the things that come out now, you know, like he said, you know, Public Enemy, you know, KRS-One, you know, people of this nature, they had something to say. You know what I mean? It was direct. It was about what's happening in this time period that we're living in, what the government is doing, and what you should wake up to and be aware of. The same thing, and I tell people, when you talk about rap, you want to hear rappers, real rappers, then you need to go back and find Nikki Giovanni, Gil Scott-Heron, H. Rap Brown.
That's right.
James Brown was a rapper. You know, if you listen to some of his stuff, you listen to Isaac Hayes. You know, they rapped serious. You know, they spit serious knowledge out. And even James Brown, in one of his songs, one of James Brown's songs saved Boston from total annihilation because of a riot that was going on. And I think it might have been the death of Martin Luther King. Was "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud." It saved Boston. The mayor of Boston called James Brown in, and he came in and spoke to the people and put on a concert. You know, and that song itself was one of the most popular songs during that time. And it brought people to the consciousness of, you know, who you are. And you know, when you listen to people like, I call R&B like R-hop B. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you listen to the music that we were putting out, in the lyrics that were coming from the songs, like Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," it was based on the Vietnam War at that time. It was based on the government. You know, Inner City Blues that Marvin Gaye had put out. Billy Paul's "Am I Black Enough for You?" And this was during all the civil rights movement. See, people have forgotten the things that went on, which has only been, slavery has only been supposedly abolished 100 years, but it's the mental slavery that still consists, you know, to move on with inside of our culture, including Hispanic as well as the African culture.
Mhm.
And
that's an excellent point. If I can jump in,
please.
There was we were having this dialogue, right, about culture, and it was this sort of round table discussion. There's people from all different cultures there, and one guy took issue with one man's reference to African presence in Latin America or pre-colonial, you know, South America, and
that it happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was a Latino brother, and he was going off about how he was in full denial of it, right? And there was a point where, you know, folks was arming up, you know, and black folks was on one side and Latinos on the other side, and he's rallying the troops. And I said, wait, hold on. Have you read Ivan Van Sertima's book? Because he was criticizing Ivan Van Sertima. I said, Ivan Van Sertima's from Guyana, so he knows South America very well. And his argument was never that black folks came here and built civilization.
Right.
It was that there was a continual exchange between Africa and South America that the Spanish knew about when they got here.
That's pretty feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, just any history book, you know, if you go deep enough, it's there.
If you read Christopher Columbus's diary, he talks about it. He's actually in a panic because he's like, how these people are trading with Africans, and we got to muscle them out of the trade. Now, I said, really, you know, somebody else was taking issue, and he started getting, you know, venom. He said, well, we're not like you. You guys are from slaves. And I went, okay. I said, that's true. I have German ancestry in me because a German slave owner had sex with my great-grandmother. Who raped your grandmama? Because Rodriguez, last I checked, is not an indigenous name. And then I said, you're not son of Rodrigo. So where'd you get that name? I said, now we, black people, through our consciousness movement, have already confronted that. We are the children of rape and pillage. Have you guys even begun the dialogue? I said, now you guys will look at those names with pride. And this is the name of a rapist. I said, now I was fortunate enough that the German ancestor didn't actually rape. They were married. But technically under Texas law, they couldn't be married. So she had to be reported as a slave. But when he died, she inherited all his wealth. But
which is a common story.
Yeah.
I mean, now, most people don't know or refuse to think about it, but that's so common.
It's very common. I said, but not a lot of people were that lucky. For the most part, it was rape. And when you're talking about Latin America, it was a whole lot of rape going on, systematic. Systematic.
Still today.
And the hate of, and then also the bred in culture or mindset of the hate of the indigenous. There's a great deal of knowledge there. There's a great deal of power to be had there. And it's completely denied because they're constantly looking towards Spain. And I'm like, Spain ain't never ruled itself properly. Why are you looking to them for an example? And that really put a lot of the people's heads spinning. And then in the middle of that conference, I said, now you see how you guys are thinking about this? We had that dialogue in the 60s. You guys have yet to have that dialogue. That's what Malcolm X was talking about. He's like, where'd you get your name? Where'd you get your culture? What happened to you that made you what you are?
What's your original language?
Exactly.
You know, and see, the other thing, you know, it's funny.
You guys make my job so easy. Thank you.
It's
I'm
funny
just, like,
because
soaking it up myself.
Because a lot of people don't know the truth about Columbus.
Speak on it.
Columbus was a homosexual and a slave owner. Columbus had a lover called Americus Bucciani. When his lover died, this is where America got its name from. Americus. So imagine this, look at all the stuff that's going on here, the sodomy that's happening in this country, and the sodomy that goes on all throughout South America and all throughout the Hispanic world, where you have the Europeans that come in and they will take the young children. They do it all in Asia. They go in and they buying the young kids and they taking them. They'll find families that are poor that really need money, and they'll give them money. Give me your daughter. She's 6 years old. I want her. Give me your son. He's 5. You know what I mean? This kind of stuff still exists today. And it's overlooked. It's not talked about because it seems to be taboo, or most people are afraid to say the truth of what is. But
Truth shall set you free.
Yeah, you only find that here on LA Talk Live.
LA Talk Live, man. 40 shows and running, you know what I mean? And whatever you want to hear and learn about, you can get it right here because Jerry Bell and Ibrahim start. When do you start? Next month?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Oh, next Wednesday.
2 to 4.
Yeah.
What?
And where this comes in, where this ties in with music is that, music and dance is an expression of self-love. And you can solve all those problems that are going on in your culture through that self-love, through the knowledge of self and expressing that thing. And the problem is that we keep looking at, well, we need to fight this dude and we need to take down the white man. It's like, what white man?
He doesn't exist.
I mean, he doesn't exist. At the
anymore.
end of the day, the problem is you. I mean, I'm Muslim, and I remember there was one thing that I read in the Quran that has always stuck with me, and it's that nothing vexes a man except what his own hands have earned. The idea is that everything that befalls you, you've earned it, good or bad. And sometimes the bad doesn't come because you did something wrong, but because you asked for something. You'd be sitting there praying, talking about,
be careful what you ask
exactly,
for.
I want some money, or I want this. And God's like, all right, give it to you, but I got to prepare you for it first. And then the hardship comes first. Then the benefit comes. It's like, so when we look at our lives in a state of hardship, it's the most difficult thing for us is to turn to, something beautiful. And that's one of the things I marvel at. That's what caused me to go back to Africa, is I looked at these cultures from Brazil on up in here in the United States.
But what is it about? Because, all of this boils down to what is one's consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What one believes about himself on the inside.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that is our true reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's our true reality, what is it that's so strong, especially since you've been there, about the African consciousness in terms of what this part of it that makes it?
Let me interject. Real quick before you say this. One of the things that people have to come to terms with, American people, the indigenous people here in America, whether you are Hispanic, Indian, whether you are from India, whether you are Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Filipino, Malay, what have you. If you never come to grips with this reality that I'm going to present, then you will never know yourself. And that is to know that every root has a tree. That tree is Africa. And all of those names that I just named are the roots of that tree. This is where you came from. This is your beginning. And if you reach back and put your egos aside and all the fantasies of your families and your grandparents and all that bullshit that you were told, and reach back and look at the root, you will find that the root that the tree is beautiful, because everything stemmed from Africa is the beginning of life, and it's a beautiful place. And I think that all of these people, these indigenous people that I named, should visit their home.
Well, you know what? I hate to do this, but wow. You know what? Thank you for being here, man. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Federico, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying and checking out what goes on the rap project. Each one teach one, man.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Each one teach one. We'll be back next week. Birds of Prey, Wu-Tang family in the house. You know what? We'll keep on learning and because they're gonna come in preaching too, y'all. You know what I mean? Preaching in a positive way. You know what I mean? Right. I appreciate you and what?
For sure.
All right.
wanted us to be. We are what we are. That's the way it's going to be. If you don't know, you can't educate us for no equal opportunity. Talking about my freedom, people freedom and liberty. Yeah, we've been trodden on the wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel. Yes, we've been trodden on the wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel. Babylon system is the vampire. Sucking the children day by day. Yeah, me say the Babylon system is the vampire, falling empire, sucking the blood of the sufferers. Yeah, building church and university. Oh yeah, deceiving the people continually. Yeah, they said them graduating thieves and murderers. Look out now, they're sucking the blood of the sufferers. Yeah, tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth right now. Come on in. Tell the children the truth. 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 Come on and tell the children the truth. Cause we've been trodden on your wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel, and we've been taken for granted much too long. Rebel, rebel, trodden on your wine press. Got to rebel, y'all. We've been trodden under wine press much too long. Yeah, 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 yeah. From the very day we left the shores of the Father's land, we've been trampled on.
Early one morning, new flash wake me out and miss me deep. Century man and a woman, all so happy. Hey, them lay down dead in the street. I know me no see, I know me no see. Hey, me this a only answer would be. Out with a hood me, out with a hood me. Some say them no know, some say maybe some. Hey, then I'm on them. Hey, then I'm on them. Then done then 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 done then I'm on. All over the world, hey, holy for assassinator, kill man, woman and picnic, Me set fear police and soldier. Matic in them ways, chopper in them hand. Hey, some of them sitting over them shoulder. Zazazazuza, zazazazuza. Hey, wada da 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 da. Den 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 den. Den 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 early one morning, hey, who flash me out and miss me? Take him man and a woman, I'm so happy me. Hey, them lay down dead in the street. I know me no see it, Hey, me this a only ask you to me. Out with Some say them no know, some say maybe so. Den morning. Den morning. Run left the furniture. Me and me brethren, mass in a one theater. Come back little later, when the area cooler. Hey, zaza zozo. Den Hey, them money say na say na better moins. Pity behind. Early one morning, you flash wake me out and miss me. 3 man and a woman, I'm so happy. Hey, them lay down dead in the street. I know me no see it. Hey, me this a only ask you do it. Out with a good do it. Some say them no know, some say maybe so. Pain it is ending the point. Den morning.
Just blaze straight up. Right, you know, walk up on some different thing. Blazing. One time. Yo. Right, you know, let's drop this shit. Otter. Sugar.
Hey, sexy
BMT boy.
I like
Look at this.
Your body's back out of control. You put it on me. See
You down to the corner, yeah.
only you can make me scream and beg for more.
Her body's calling and balling. Got me crawling up, but it's a walling. My size is small, well it's calling. Catch a glimpse, her clothes is all falling. Her neighbors calling and bawling. All this noise is so damn all appalling. They must believe that we're brawling. Head voice banging.
Thank you for tuning in to LA Talk Live, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned. Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media.